And just lastly, this is actually from a different study, but it ties in really nicely to the message from the last slide. This is from a kind of case study we did with John Lewis last year, looking at people. We sent some people to their site and asked them their experience. We sent them to their mobile optimized site, and we asked them, we basically kind of just theoretically asked them, imagine if you wanted to buy a product from John Lewis after having visited the mobile optimized site. This is, imagine if you wanted to buy a product but it wasn't working. What would be the most likely of your kind of reactions? Would you wait until you were on the computer? So the majority have said, yeah, they'd wait then. They'd go into a store and actually buy it. But actually 30% overall wouldn't make that purchase from John Lewis at all. They would go to a competitor, they wouldn't bother, or they'd do something else. And that's basically losing 30% of your business. And imagine if you didn't have a store. So, you know, if you're not John Lewis, if you're Play.com, what do people do then? It's like shutting those store doors for 2 days a week by not having an optimized site. It's absolutely key. So that's kind of all of the stats. I've got a couple more, but I thought I'd break it up a bit with stats. I'm always presenting stats, so I thought I'd show you some exciting examples as well of commerce in action. And I've only got one overlap with Mark, which is good. I'm pleased to say that having kind of banged the drum about optimizing sites, that many retailers have done that in recent years. So all of these guys in the last couple of years have invested and made their sites optimized for mobile, which is fantastic. There are an awful long tail more to go. Google says that 87% of all sites on the internet are not optimized for mobile. So there is a lot more work to be done in this area. But good to see there's some getting on board. There's some fantastic innovations in terms of mobile payments. Has anyone here heard of Square? Yeah? Oh, what a surprise, Steve Ricketts has. So Jack Dorsey, who founded Twitter, has also, obviously a pretty bright guy, founded this company Square, where basically anyone can, you get this Square, that little white piece of plastic, for free. You just have to put in your social security number and a website. They send it out to you. You literally plug it into your phone. It enables you to take card payments through iPad or phone from anyone. You could do it from your mates. You could do it if you've got a car boot sale, if you're an independent coffee shop owner. The possibilities are sort of limitless with it. And I guess PayPal are pretty interested by this because they've recently launched their own kind of, it is PayPal, isn't it? Yeah, it is. They've launched their own competitor. It's actually a triangle, which I think is hilarious. Close, but not exactly the same. To do the exact same thing. And it's really fantastic. It's bringing mobile, you know, who needs a store till anymore if you've got one of these, an iPad with one of these stuck in? It's pretty exciting. You know about this. But also kind of a slightly different, not really to do with m-commerce, but kind of on the same wavelength is mobile payments more generally. M-Pesa is a kind of a mobile, well, I guess it's kind of a payment system / bank in Kenya, and it's actually the most successful bank in Kenya currently. And it works very much in the same way that Pingit does, that we were just talking about. So you can, using someone's phone number, transfer money. And this has become so huge in Kenya that I was actually reading that they think it has had an impact on inflation there, and the bank has to do some measures to overcome this because there's so many more people in the kind of financial loop in Kenya than there ever were before, that supply is outstripping demand for items and inflation is going up. I mean, the fact that a mobile payment system is changing an entire country's economy is quite astounding. And stuff like Pingit, we're actually kind of behind here in the developed world. We're only seeing the beginnings of this, whereas in the developing world, it's already very established. Some kind of stuff on NFC. So NFC has got some great opportunities, but actually there's kind of been a bit of an impatience about it because so few phones have NFC on them that retailers want to get involved without waiting for consumers to actually have that. So Starbucks, and I quote, they didn't want to wait for NFC to get mobile payments happening with their products. So they made their own, it's not really anything to do with NFC at all, but it's sort of NFC Lite. They made their own mobile payments platform in the UK, and you can do this today, where you put in your kind of account details basically to the app, and they use this kind of mobile barcoding, they scan that to get your payment. So it sort of feels a bit kind of NFC Lite, but isn't really. And it just shows to me how excited and important many retailers think that this is. They've made their own technology to bridge the gap between now and when that kind of activity is more prevalent. And lastly, and I think from a promotions point of view, this is probably one of the most important ones, is Shopkick. So this is really more in the US currently, but I'm sure we'll see something like it here. It's an app, again, that you download, and basically you get rewarded for a few different things. You get rewarded simply for the act of walking into a store. So they'll have sensors, and I actually think it's done through audio sensors, which is interesting, that when you walk in the door, the audio is sent to your phone, it picks it up, and you're rewarded points, Shopkick points, for being there. You get more for purchasing something. It's all linked up into your account, and you can use these points from anything from a free coffee to sometimes they do vouchers off. They do a whole variety of different promotional things. It's really up to the retailer and Shopkick to decide how to kind of implement that. We've done some other research recently that shows that 38% of smartphone users, are using their phone in store. So stuff like that, people are already turning to their phone. And if you can, rather than, if retailers can optimize that experience rather than fight it, don't turn off the Wi-Fi in your store, reward them for being there and reward them for using your phone in store. That's a great way for the high street to kind of react and promote things to them. It's another way to use what they're already doing as a promotional tool. Also, interestingly, in that study, we saw that more people trust their mobile phone while shopping than their friends. So, really important. Anyway, so quickly, what about tablets? Where does this all fit in? We saw some great stuff from Mark on tablets and how important they are. We've done another study about tablet users. This is called 3 Device Lives. We surveyed over 600 in total, but for this specific segment, over 200 people who owned a tablet, a smartphone, and a PC. And we looked at how their usage patterns were different between these 3 devices. What we saw is that there's kind of natural niches that people fall into, that they're using their different devices for different things. So the computer over-indexes for kind of career, admin-type activities. The phone is quite immediate usage for kind of finding information, social stuff, and keeping up to date with news, etc. But what we saw with tablets, there is this thing with entertainment. I think we kind of knew that entertainment was huge on tablets, watching videos, reading, etc. That's something I think we all probably know. But what was really surprising was to see just how important retail is on tablets. It's massive. People are shopping tons on their tablets. And it's going to be a really, really important trend for 2012, the way commerce is conducted on tablets. And just to back that up a bit further, we've done another study. We're doing a lot of studies. This one called Mojo, looking at what people are actually buying and how it differs across their 3 devices. So you can see that the PC is still kind of dominant for the physical item, but otherwise, actually, the tablet's kind of overtaking in terms of buying both service and ticket type things, so slightly less tangible, and then the even less tangible digital downloads. I mean, 70% of tablet users are buying stuff through digital downloads. I mean, that's the kind of entertainment stuff. They're shopping an awful lot, but still to see 63% buying physical items through their tablet, absolutely huge. And if you're not convinced about how important tablets are for shopping and commerce, we saw in the same study as the one I just referred to that in our sample, they were spending 4.5 hours a week shopping on tablets, which is an awful lot of time, double that of smartphone owners and PC. And it's just because of that tangibility and that experience. People want to, it's almost like, flicking through a catalogue or actually almost touching those products. And people are spending hours and hours with their tablets to do that kind of thing. I personally think this is going to be a really important trend that we really all should be keeping an eye on. So just literally some two or three final thoughts on the future. NFC we've spoken about an awful lot. The fact is at the moment that not many phones in the UK have that NFC chip in it, which is really, really important. So we know it's coming. There'll be no doubt that there'll be more chips, but we just wanted to know what people thought about it generally. And this is from the study I originally showed you, the 4 different definitions around commerce. We asked those 1,000 people this one question, and I just read it out because this is literally all we gave them to define NFC. We said, you may know that some mobile phones have a chip installed which allows the owner to buy items using their phone by simply swiping the phone at the front of a special reader, much like an Oyster card. That's it. That's all the information they got about it. What's your initial reaction? And 74% think it's a good idea, which I think is, again, quite impressive. That just you'll be secure, no, your bank will have your details, nothing like that, but just as a kind of overall kind of theory, in theory, they're very, very optimistic towards it. And I think it shows really great potential for NFC in the future. And as I think that, like I say, this kind of constant cycle of phones will impact how quickly we get it. So these figures from IDC show that already mobile phones are outstripping PC shipments in the, globally. So this will continue. These trends will only increase in the future as this consumer trend continues. And lastly, if you don't believe me, I don't know if I've hammered the points enough, but if you don't believe me, believe the people who are making the money out of it. eBay released that $5 billion of merchandise was bought and sold on eBay Mobile, as I say, 3.5 Ferraris a month, a house, things like that. Amazon's getting $1 billion worth of products on mobile. And Debenhams, just to bring it back sort of a bit more UK focused, making a pretty decent chunk of money within 5 months on just their iPhone app alone. So hopefully that convinces you that it's sort of serious. So just to conclude, just a couple of bullet points, key takeouts. So half the UK engaging in commerce and spending 17 quid a time on average, which is pretty significant. And we're seeing retailers really sit up and pay attention to that, whether that be an optimized site, whether that be loyalty schemes, mobile vouchers, tons and tons of things coming out, people who are reacting positively most of the time to this change in consumer behavior. Tablets are massive for browsing, shopping, payments. I think particularly that browsing aspect that tablets offer is going to be really interesting to see who can optimize that the best. And with predictions that mobile will overtake global internet usage very soon, both of these, tablet, mobile, all of it is a trend that sort of none of us really can afford to ignore. That's it, and if you've got any questions, you're always welcome to contact me, or John, or anyone. Thanks.